Silent Hill F made me want to refund it at hour 3 and schedule a second playthrough at hour 7. That isn't indecision, it's the game's identity. The first half feels like detention with a pipe and a stamina bar. The second half, a delirious folklore-soaked descent that made my skin crawl and my brain light up. So here's the real question. Is that initial slog worth your time and $70, and how do you minimize the pain to get to the good stuff? Context clean and concrete. Developer Neobards. Publisher Konami. Release September 25th, 2025 on PS5, Xbox Series XS and PC. Setting: the fog-sunk village of Ibisaoka in 1960s Japan. No radio static, no rust-punk hallways, no pistols stuffed in glove boxes. Instead you get red spider lilies that eat you, shrine realms lit by Toria gates, and monsters that look like a mannequin factory tried to grow lungs. It's Silent Hill by way of Shinto horror and small-town rot, and that pivot matters, where the critics converge and clash. PC Gamer plants a flag at 90, calls it the next step, praises puzzles, setting, and a stealth-forward way to play that keeps the horror intact. Eurogamer says the first half grinds gears but the back half blossoms. Stick with it is the thesis. IGN drops a 7. Loves the storytelling and art direction, but drags the melee for feeling all risk and no reward, then overpowered later. They also note a juicy new game plus, with new interiors, documents, altered scenes, extra bosses, and a treasure hunt weapon, so replay isn't just endings. That split ecstatic tone poem for combat tax is the entire debate. Veteran Games take: Silent Hill F is a return to form in mood and theme, with a combat system that's serviceable only if you opt into its intended playstyle. Treat it like a brawler and you'll hate it. Treat it like a survival horror with knives where you run, dodge, and pick fights surgically, and it clicks. Let's unpack the friction. You carry up to 3 breakable melee weapons: pipe, bat, sledgehammer. Light heavy swings drain a stingy stamina bar. Focus powers up attacks but chews at your sanity meter, making you vulnerable to shrieks and psyche damage if you overdo it. Weapons splinter unless you repair them with scarce toolkits. Inventory is tiny, shared with offerings you sacrifice at shrines to buy permanent upgrades via faith, and you'll constantly debate whether divine water, Ramune, or a bandage deserves a slot while a headless mannequin tries to autograph your face. It's pressure by design, the problem. Early on, the risk-reward loop can feel lopsided. You spend resources to win, to get nothing back but a shorter pipe. Pattern interrupt. The Shrine Realm is the antidote. Those sequences flip the script, indestructible blades, richer puzzles, and later, a power that reframes the combat rhythm. It's gorgeous, it's sinister, and it's where the story bears fangs. Quick spoiler in 3, 2, 1. Mid-game. Hinako gains an Otherworld upgrade that gives you a controlled burst mode and a new arm mechanic that finally lets offense feel predatory without discarding vulnerability. It fits the narrative, and it's the moment Eurogamers stick with it makes sense. Spoilers over, back to safe ground. Now the part that matters for your time. How to play so the first half doesn't chew you up. Pick story for combat unless you crave pain. Puzzles still have their own difficulty if you want brain burn. Embrace stealth. Enemies have short sight lines, and a certain charm reduces them further. Plan your route on the map, funnel monsters around corners, and use perfect dodges to refill stamina. This turns panic sprints into controlled evasions. Fight only when the door locks or when a small patrol blocks progress. The game telegraphs those moments. Hoard toolkits for the town. They're useless in the Shrine Realm, where your kit doesn't break. At shrines, in shrine offerings early to lock in health, stamina, sanity bumps, you'll regret sitting on a dragon's hoard of junk and 0 upgrades. And internalize this. Your journal is a lifeline, not a lore dump. It caches clues, solutions, and flavor that make Ebisugaoka feel lived in, not just haunted. Pattern interrupt puzzles. They're the quiet backbone that keeps this from turning into Melee the Mannequin. Folklore riddles, switch mazes, calendar hopping in a family home. The devs remembered that Silent Hill is supposed to make you think and squint, not just swing. On hard, you'll pore over notes and connect names to rituals. On story, they still land, they just hurt less. About that atmosphere, it's thick. The sound design hisses and hums. Akira Yamaoka's DNA is there, but the score's less industrial groan and more Shrine Ghost's lullaby. The village layout sells isolation. You squeeze between homes, circle back through alleys, and stumble on unmarked moments that pay off later. One reviewer clocked a dancer behind paper doors long before they became a problem. That's the magic trick. Dread by foreshadowing, not jump scares on a timer. Counterpoint, honestly delivered. Combat can and will feel clunky. Target lock slips under pressure. Animation locks will get you clipped at door thresholds. The stamina meter is miserly, and stamina pauses after dodges can get you tagged unless you time the perfect iframe. None of that ruins the experience if you steer towards stealth and puzzle solving. All of it ruins it if you brute force arenas swinging heavy weapons in alleys. Also, the tiny inventory plus offering system can make you feel like a bad quartermaster, especially when you discard something you needed. 2 hours later, rebuttal with receipts. PC Gamer's second run treated combat as optional and had a blast. Enemies break line of sight easily, and Shrine realm fights don't chew your gear. Eurogamer admits the first hours stumble, but the second half delivers a body horror crescendo that justifies the friction. IGN found the loop unrewarding, but also confirms there's substantial NG plus content beyond endings. Translated: if you vibe with the tone, the game gives you levers to make the combat a background instrument, not the lead guitar. Mid-video payoff before the CTA, a micro kit that smooths Act 1. Story combat plus hard puzzles. Equip a detection shrinking charm. Stash toolkits for the village. Spend offerings early at shrines. In fights, prioritize heavy weapons for block access and focus only when you can cache it safely. Perfect dodge to refresh stamina, then disengage, don't win, survive forward. You'll hit the pivot faster and fresher. If this kind of no BS deep dive is your lane, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe. We do sharp takes, not fog thick waffle. If you're nodding or fuming, toss a like so this take survives the algorithm. Verdict: Silent Hill F is a bold, beautiful step that trades shotguns for shrine bells and finds the old soul in a new body. The combat won't be your favorite thing unless you accept it as punctuation, not prose. But the story, the setting, the puzzles, and that mid-game metamorphosis. That's the stuff that made this series matter in the first place. On balance, it's the strongest new mainline entry since the PS2 era, messy in the hands, haunting in the head. Spicy closer. Should Silent Hill keep pushing melee first, stealth-heavy horror like this, or bring firearms back to balance the risk-reward? Drop your philosophy below, and tell me if you made it to the second half before judging the whole.